Let me tell you something that might shake your soul awake today. You're not broken. You never were. What you are is human. You're someone who's been through storms and still stood. Someone who's faced rejection, betrayal, heartbreak. And yet, here you are. Breathing, listening, seeking, that alone is a sign of strength. The world will try to convince you that you're not enough. It'll slap labels on you: too emotional, too slow, too damaged, too late. But listen to me carefully. Those labels are not who you are. You are limitless potential wrapped in human form. Now maybe you've made mistakes. Good. Mistakes mean you're alive. Maybe you've failed. Perfect. That means you had the courage to try. Maybe you've been hurt so deeply that you started to believe the pain was your identity, but it's not. Let me repeat that. Your pain is not your identity. You are not your trauma. You are not your past. You are not the opinions of people who couldn't see your worth. What you are is the architect of your next chapter. But here's the real problem. We don't rise because we're never taught how to redefine what we believe about ourselves. Most people are living in a prison they built with their own thoughts, but the lock on that cell, it's imaginary. You can walk out of it anytime you choose. The voice in your head that whispers you're broken. You'll never change. You don't deserve more. That's not your voice. That's the echo of conditioning. That's pain speaking. That's fear trying to hold you back. But guess what? You have a new voice inside you too. One that says, I am worthy. I am still learning, still growing. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be real. You want transformation. Here's where it starts. You accept yourself fully, not the filtered version, not the people pleaser version, not the version you show the world to get approval. I'm talking about the real you, the messy, raw, beautiful version, the one who's still healing, the one who's still evolving, the one who knows deep down that life has more for them than pain and repetition. You're not here to just survive. You're here to thrive. You're here to break cycles. You're here to rewrite the story. Let me ask you something. Who would you be if you stopped believing you were broken? Who would you be if you let go of the guilt, the shame, the regret? That version of you, the one free from self, doubt, free from fear, isn't some fantasy. That version is already inside of you, screaming to come alive. But it's buried under years of I'm not good enough. Let's bury that story instead. Let's kill the lie that says healing requires perfection. Healing is messy, growth is uncomfortable, but staying stuck, that's agony. If your heart still beats, you still have a mission. If you're still waking up, you still have purpose. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait to be ready. Don't wait until you have all the answers. Start with the truth. You are not broken. You are becoming. Look, even a shattered mirror reflects light. Even broken crayons still color. The cracks in your story don't weaken you. They reveal where the light gets in. So stop apologizing for being in process. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel. Stop shrinking to make other people comfortable. This is your life, your moment, your time. You don't need to be fixed. You need to be unleashed. Think about this. There are people who've been where you are, feeling lost, tired, disconnected, and they found the fire again. So can you. There are people who were told you'll never be anything, and they became legends. So can you. There are people who were betrayed, broken down, torn apart, and they rebuilt, stronger, wiser, more powerful. So can you. Let today be the day you stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what's possible for me? Because possibility lives on the other side of a new belief. A belief that says, I am not broken. I am whole. I am powerful. I am enough. And listen, this doesn't mean you won't still cry some nights. It doesn't mean you'll never feel lost again. But now you'll carry a new truth inside of you, that even when it's dark, you are still the light. That even when it hurts, you're still moving forward. And that every scar is not a symbol of weakness, it's proof that you survived what tried to destroy you. And if you survived that, you can survive anything. So rise up. Speak differently to yourself. Demand more from your life. Dream bigger, love harder, walk taller, because you were never broken. You were just becoming. You are not broken, you are becoming. This is not just a statement. It's a complete shift in how you see yourself. For too long, you've been looking at your life through a lens of damage. through a lens that tells you something's wrong with you, that your setbacks define you, that your scars make you less. But what if the truth is the opposite? What if every struggle you've faced was never meant to break you, but to shape you into something stronger, deeper, and more resilient than you ever imagined? When you say, "I'm broken," you attach your identity to your lowest moments. But you are not the pain, you are the person walking through it. You're not broken because you're hurting. You're becoming because you're healing, you're evolving. Growth doesn't look pretty. It doesn't sound like perfection. It sounds like trying one more time after falling 1,000. It looks like questioning everything so you can finally build something real. Becoming means you are in motion. It means that your life is not a closed chapter. It's a book still being written. The challenges, the confusion, the battles within yourself, they are not signs of failure. They are signs that you are alive and moving through a process that most people run away from. They are signs of transformation. When a seed is buried in the soil, it doesn't look like much. In fact, it looks like death. Darkness, isolation, pressure, but inside, something miraculous is happening. That seed is cracking open. Not because it's broken, but because that's the only way the life inside can emerge. That's what becoming looks like. It looks like breaking through the shell of your old self so the new version can come alive. But most people stop at the cracking. They say, "This hurts, so I must be broken." No. Your becoming, your identity is not in what you've lost. It's in what you're building. Every fear you face, every limiting belief you confront, every truth you accept about yourself, that's becoming. Every time you rise after disappointment, every time you forgive yourself, every time you choose to keep going, that's becoming. You weren't meant to be perfect, polished, or finished. You were meant to evolve. The world tells you that if you have wounds, if you're tired, if you've fallen apart, there's something wrong with you. But the truth is, that's the evidence that you're in the middle of the work. You don't need to hide the mess. The mess is part of the masterpiece. Becoming is not about pretending everything is okay. It's about showing up anyway. It's about learning how to carry both the light and the dark, and knowing they're both necessary. Because the strongest people aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who embrace the process, who understand that transformation isn't neat. It's gritty and raw and sometimes painful, but it's real. And that realness is where your power is. When you stop trying to fix what was never broken, you start to free yourself. You start to realize that the pain didn't rue in you. It revealed you. It revealed your courage. Your ability to rise, your depth, your wisdom, everything you've been through wasn't for nothing. It was building something in you that couldn't have existed otherwise. Every setback shaped a strength. Every heartbreak grew compassion. Every delay taught you patience. Becoming is the process of unfolding into who you really are, underneath the noise, the pressure, the expectations. It's the journey back to your truth, back to your worth, back to the person you were always meant to be. Your pain is not your identity. Pain is something you've felt, something you've carried, something you've endured. But it is not who you are. Pain is an experience, not a definition. Yet so many people wear their pain like a name tag, like a permanent label stamped onto their soul. They begin to believe that because they've suffered, they are broken, that because they've been hurt, they must be unworthy. But that's not the truth. The truth is, pain visits us, but it's not meant to live in us. It's meant to teach, to sharpen, to awaken parts of us we didn't even know were there. Pain is a messenger, not a master. It's a signal that something needs healing, not a verdict on who you are. You are not the betrayal. You are not the trauma. You are not the mistakes. You are not the abandonment. Those things happened, yes, and they were real. They left marks, but they do not get to define the whole story of your life. They are chapters, not the entire book. People often confuse pain with identity because it's loud. Pain speaks in the silence. It echoes in the moments when no one's watching. It whispers lies that sound like truth. It says, "This happened to you because you're not enough." It says, "This keeps happening because you're defective." But those are lies born from unhealed wounds. Real identity lives beneath those lies. Real identity is not fragile, and it's not formed by what happened to you. It's revealed by how you rise through what happened to you. Your identity is made of strength, purpose, resilience, fire. It's made of the dreams you still hold on to, even after everything. It's in the fact that you still care, that you still try, that you still show up even when it's hard. The moment you start believing your pain is your identity, you start shrinking yourself to fit inside your suffering. You stop seeing the possibilities. You start repeating cycles because you believe nothing more is meant for you. But you are not here to live in cycles. You are here to grow beyond them. You are here to reclaim the parts of you that pain tried to steal. You are here to rise with a new understanding, a new power, a new sense of self that no wound can ever take from you, because the core of who you are has always been intact. It may have been buried under layers of hurt, but it's still there. It's still shining, and it's waiting for you to remember. You are more than your story. You are more than the worst thing that ever happened to you. You are more than the things you never got to say, or the apologies you never received. Your identity is not shaped by the people who couldn't see your value. It's not formed by how others treated you when you were at your lowest. It's built from the moments you kept going. It's carved out of the times you cried in silence and then wiped your own tears. It's in the quiet courage that no one applauded but that kept you alive. Pain has a place, but it's not the foundation. It's a visitor, not a permanent resident. And when you finally begin to see that, everything starts to shift. You start to hold your head differently. You begin to walk through the world with a quieter kind of strength. Not because the pain is gone, but because it no longer owns you. You recognize it when it comes, but you don't give it the steering wheel. You don't give it your name, because your name is not pain. Your name is power. Your name is grace. Your name is becoming. You don't need fixing. You need unleashing. The world has trained you to believe that there's something wrong with you because you're not like everyone else. That if you feel too deeply, dream too big, or fall too often, you must be broken. So you spend your life trying to fix yourself, trying to fit in, trying to silence the parts of you that don't match the mold. But the truth is, you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. You were meant to rise, not to shrink. The parts of you that feel too much, think too much, or question everything, those are not weaknesses, those are clues. They're the signs that your fire is still burning, that your spirit hasn't been tamed. What the world calls flaws may be the very things that make you powerful. You don't need a cure for who you are. You need the courage to release it. You've spent too much time waiting for permission to be whole. You've looked for approval, validation, acceptance, thinking that once you have them, you'll finally be enough. But being enough was never about external confirmation. It was always about stepping into your own truth. The truth that you were made for more, that you don't need to be fixed, because you were never a mistake. You were made with intention, with fire, with a calling, and the more you try to fix what isn't broken, the more disconnected you become from that calling. This idea of fixing ourselves often comes from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being too much, fear of failing. But fear doesn't deserve to lead your life. What deserves to lead is your fire, your purpose, your truth. There's a version of you that's been buried under years of playing small. That version knows exactly who you are. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't wait for the right moment. It doesn't apologize for taking up space. That version is waiting to be unleashed, but it can't come alive while you're still trying to correct yourself into someone else's idea of worthy. The world has never needed perfect people. It has always needed real people, those who are willing to be fully seen, fully expressed, fully alive. The ones who don't edit themselves to be liked. The ones who stop trying to fix their fire and instead start learning how to use it. You've been told you're too intense, too emotional, too sensitive. But intensity is passion, emotion is depth, sensitivity is awareness. These are not things to fix. They are tools to shape the life you're meant to live, The more you embrace these parts, the more powerful you become. There's nothing wrong with the way you feel. There's nothing wrong with the way you think. What's wrong is the belief that you must hide or fix what makes you unique. That belief was planted by people who didn't understand your vision. It was reinforced by systems that profit from your self-doubt. But you don't belong to those systems. You don't owe anyone a version of you that makes them comfortable. You owe yourself the freedom to be exactly who you are. Unleashing yourself means remembering what you knew before the world convinced you to forget. It means stepping into your full power without apology. It means turning down the volume on fear and turning up the volume on your truth. You were never made to be controlled, tamed, or corrected. You were made to rise, to speak, to lead. Fixing implies something is broken. But what if nothing is broken? What if everything you've been through, every part of your personality, every failure and every flaw, has been shaping you for this very moment? What if the only thing holding you back isn't your damage, but your belief that you're damaged? Scars don't show weakness, they show survival. Every scar on your body, every invisible scar on your heart, tells a story not of how you fell, but of how you rose. They are not evidence of your defeat, but proof that you endured what tried to destroy you and lived to speak about it. The world often teaches us to hide our scars, to cover them up with makeup, fake smiles, and filtered versions of our lives. But what if your scars are your greatest strength? What if the very thing you've been ashamed of is the thing that connects you to your power, to your resilience, to your truth? Scars are not flaws. They are symbols. They are reminders that the wound closed, that the bleeding stopped, that the pain passed. You don't need to pretend you've never been hurt. You just need to understand that being hurt and still showing up is strength at its highest level. People look at others and see smooth surfaces, polished images, perfect moments, but that's never the full story. What makes someone powerful isn't their perfection. It's the hell they walked through and how they chose to rise afterward. You didn't choose the pain, but you chose to survive it. You chose to move forward with it. You chose to keep your heart open even after it had been shattered. That's not weakness. That's power in its rawest, most courageous form. Your scars are a language only the brave understand. They say, I've known darkness, but I still believe in light. They say, I've been broken, but I rebuilt. They say, I've lost, but I never gave up. This world needs people who wear their truth instead of hiding behind masks. It needs people who are willing to be seen not in spite of their scars, but because of them. Every time you look at your scars, remember what you survived. Remember the nights you didn't think you'd make it. Remember the days you wanted to give up. And then remember the fact that you didn't. You are here not because everything was easy, but because something inside you refused to be destroyed. That something is still in you. It's still burning, still alive, still fighting for the life you deserve. The world may have tried to convince you that scars are unattractive, that they mean you're damaged goods, but the truth is, scars show character. They show grit. They show that you've experienced life in all its chaos and still chose love, growth, and movement. Some people try to avoid pain their whole lives. They build walls, hide from emotions, run from conflict. But the ones who face it, the ones who live through it and come out wiser on the other side, those are the ones who carry depth. Those are the ones who lead, inspire, and transform others. Your scar may be the roadmap someone else needs. Your story, as imperfect as it feels, might be the reason someone else finds the strength to keep going. Scars humanize you, they ground you, they remind you of what matters, not how clean your past is, but how committed you are to the present and how hopeful you are for the future. Don't minimize what you've survived. Don't downplay what it took to get here. You've faced things people will never understand, and yet you chose to live, to give, to try again. That's not weakness. That's an unmatched form of strength. Some wounds run deep, and some scars remain visible forever, but they don't define your limitations. They define your endurance. They define your courage. They define the fact that no matter how many times life knocked you down, you still had the heart to rise again. You still had the soul to believe that more was possible for you. You still had the fire to keep walking through the storm until you found your light again. Stop waiting to be ready. Start believing you're enough. Most people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the right opportunity, waiting to feel confident, waiting until they've learned enough, healed enough, achieved enough. But the truth is, waiting is often fear in disguise. It's the lie that tells you you're not yet worthy of stepping into your purpose. It's the hesitation that says you need to become someone else before you begin. But you don't need to be perfect to make progress. You don't need to have it all figured out to move forward. You just need to trust that who you are right now is enough to take the next step. Readiness is not a feeling, it's a decision. It's not about having every detail sorted or every doubt silenced. It's about choosing to move even when the fear still whispers in your ear. It's about saying yes before the certainty arrives. You'll never feel 100% ready to do the big things that matter. Growth doesn't come from comfort, it comes from action, and action begins when you stop overthinking and start owning your value. There is power in deciding that you're done playing small. There's freedom in realizing that no external validation can give you what self-belief already holds. When you believe you're enough, you stop looking for permission. You stop delaying your dreams, your voice, your truth. You don't need more credentials, more followers, more praise to become who you were meant to be. You already have what it takes. The skills can be developed. The experience can be earned. But the belief must come first. Because without belief, even the best opportunities will slip through your fingers. Without belief, the fear will always find a reason to keep you still. Being ready is not about waiting until nothing scares you. It's about deciding that what you want is worth being scared for. It's about stepping into the unknown with courage and trusting that you'll learn what you need as you go. You've already survived so much. You've already overcome challenges, pushed through obstacles, handled moments when you didn't think you could. That strength lives in you still. That resilience isn't gone. It's ready to carry you forward, but it needs your permission. Stop telling yourself you're not qualified. Stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. Stop holding yourself hostage to past mistakes. You are not here to be flawless. You are here to be real, to be bold, to show up with what you have and trust that it's enough. The people who change their lives, who create impact, who build something meaningful, they don't wait to be chosen. They choose themselves. They start when it's messy. They act when it's scary. They speak up when their voice shakes. And in doing so, they discover that the strength was inside them all along. You won't always feel ready. The nerves may never fully go away, but they're not a reason to stop. They're a sign that you're stretching, that you're stepping into something that matters. Don't let fear convince you to sit on the sidelines of your own life. Your purpose doesn't need to be validated by anyone else. Your dreams don't require approval. You don't have to wait for someone to tap you on the shoulder and tell you now's the time. You decide when it's time. You decide that who you are today is worthy of beginning, not after you lose the weight, not after the degree, not after the apology, not after the job offer, right now, with the doubts, with the imperfections, with the heart that still believes something greater is possible.